Hey there guys, welcome to Dino's Vault once again, and today I bring you my first ride review of the KTM RC390. Well, what a bike. What an amazing bike. Sorry, I believe you didn't expect this right at the very beginning, but I'm so damn impressed with the subtle yet significant changes that KTM have added to this already firecracker of a bike that the bike is now almost a perfect deal for anyone looking for a super hot, super sport machine in the 300cc segment. Now, you all know that I've already done a detailed first look walk around video talking about all the new features that this bike comes loaded with, and you can watch that video by following the link appearing on the screen currently. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight down to business. First, looking at the engine specs, we get the same 373.2cc engine that puts out a max power of 43.5 PS at 9000 RPM and 36 Newton meters of torque at 7000 RPM, and this comes mated to the ultra slick 6-speed gearbox. The RC390 right from its very launch became an instant benchmark in its segment for offering razor sharp cornering capabilities, perfectly sorted out aerodynamics, explosive power that may even scare the wits out of you sometimes, and hardcore trackability with a brilliant chassis and rigid suspension setup that allow it to decimate its rivals should it be ridden by a good rider. Now, while the R3 and the Ninja 300 are more refined and more versatile, the RC390 came across more like a bike that was born, baptized and raised on the track with the sole purpose of dominating the race circuit. The rigid suspension setup and the harder seats were anything but comfortable while riding the bike through the city. Also, this bike being a rev-happy bike gave out a lot of vibrations at lower speeds, which was a big turn-off for those who wanted to use this bike for daily commutes as well. Now, the most important change in this new RC390 that made me really happy is the way the suspension has been tuned now. I don't think this bike gets the open cartridge separate function upside down front forks like the Duke 390, but still the suspension setup has to be the best I've experienced on a super sport machine to date. It is so perfectly tuned to absorb the balls shattering potholes on our streets and at the same time offer great stability at higher speeds. Now, this coupled with the well padded seat and the ultra refined engine along with the lighter clutch action and super smooth gearbox well and truly take care of the comfort factor now. Now, please note that I'm talking in terms of a super sport machine lover. Now, there are some who are used to the upright riding posture of a street naked, and they may find this seating posture a little too aggressive initially, but you might get used to it once you get a hang of it. But for all you super sport lovers out there, this bike now feels better than it has ever felt before. Another good news is that the vibrations have been cut down to a bare minimum. As a matter of fact, they are almost non-existent so long as you ride in the right gear at the right speed. The throttle response is phenomenal and more instant thanks to the better fueling that comes courtesy of the ride-by-wire technology. Also, thanks to the larger 320mm front disc, the initial bite from the brakes is a lot reassuring and a lot smoother now. The ABS intrusion too is a lot smoother and not very abrupt or sudden as it was before. The tires offer good road grip while riding through the city streets. Now, I cannot comment about the cornering capabilities because I didn't take the bike out on a track, nor could I find any sharp corners on the streets to test out its cornering potential, but we all very well know that for the RC, cutting through corners is as effortless as a Sunny Leon item number crossing 1 million views in a day. Now, the engine heating is not all that apparent, though I had tested this bike right under the sun on a hot summer afternoon and I rode the bike through city traffic as well as empty stretches. Now, I can say that with conviction because I currently own the first gen Duke 200 wherein the heating is quite apparent, especially if you're stuck in bumper to bumper traffic. Now, I'm not saying that the bike won't heat up at all, but KTM have addressed the heating issue in last year's model itself by repositioning the radiator fan assembly such that the hot air is blown downwards and away from your legs. Now, looking at one thing we can still gripe about is the fuel tank. We still continue to get the minuscule 9.5 litre tank that feels a bit too less, but that's what track racing is all about: minimal weight and a rigid setup to race ahead. Now, we cannot expect KTM to slap on a bulky 20 litre tank on this bike, but maybe a 13.5 litre tank just like that of the new Duke 390 would be fair enough. Now, ground clearance is 178.5 mm, which is more than sufficient. The seat height is 820 mm, which didn't bother me all that much, with me being around 5 feet 6 inches tall. Now, despite this new bike weighing around 7 kgs heavier than its preceding model, the bike is an absolute delight to ride through the city now. Hence, it doesn't really matter, I guess, and the added weight isn't very apparent either. Now, what do all these changes mean to us? The R3 and the Ninja 300 are outstanding motorcycles, and there's absolutely no doubt about it. I especially love the R3 for its refinement, smooth acceleration, and versatile nature of being usable for daily commutes, do a bit of touring, and also nail the apex on the tracks. The only gripe about the RC all along was its rigid chassis and suspension that was hardly tolerable while riding through the city streets. Now, with this brilliantly tuned suspension, lighter clutch feel, smoother gearbox, lighter and crispier throttle action, and a vibration-free refined engine, the RC390 is just as much as game for its Japanese rivals, and the best thing is that the RC costs nearly half as much as its rivals. Also, performance-wise, the RC enjoys the best-in-class power-to-weight ratio at 256 PS per ton compared to that of the Ninja 300 or even the R3. Therefore, I think KTM have absolutely nailed it this time around by offering the perfect balance of blazing performance and surprising comfort in a bike that runs through the track like a guided missile on a mission. Well, that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless, and ride safe.